sales meeting on the third Tuesday of every month. It's going to be recorded, so if it doesn't fall on your meeting day, that's okay. It can be recorded. It'll be recorded, then you guys can pick it up either at your meeting with your sales director or with my Starbucks coffee mug. Have it with your sales director. We'll show it at your office, or you guys can look at it when you get a chance. So, lots going on in the marketplace, the economy, the industry. So, we're really trying to find ways for us to be able to communicate more. One thing we're going to be doing this year, which is slightly different, is we're going to be altering how we do our top teammates for this coming year. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do the top teammates for Maine. There'll be 25 for Maine plus 3 teams. The top 25 for New Hampshire and Vermont plus the top 3 teams. And then we'll have breakfasts on a rotating basis. So we're kind of doubling the number of breakfasts we're having this year. And then all the brand new agents to the company, new and experienced, will be invited to those meetings as well. So, really looking at ways how we can expand, how we communicate what's going on, and, sharing that information with you guys in ways that are easily digestible. So one other thing that we're doing for Mondays, we'll still be doing the Monday flash report, or we've changed it from the Monday kickoff to the Monday flash report. There'll be videos in there from people other than me. I might be one of them. But Lorraine, Jocelyn, Kristen from training, there'll be a lot of information in there. Instead of doing one large monthly newsletter, we feel like if we can just do a flash report every week, with just a few items in there, it gives people kind of a chance to digest it all. So, as everything else we do, everything's fluid, and we'll just be measuring how things are working, and always want your feedback. And there will be a feedback section at this meeting as well. At the end, we'll have a time for a chat. So I thought we would get into our 2018 results. So you guys did a great job this year. The unit count, interesting. So we closed 7,470 units this year, which is up, by maybe 40 or 50 units year over year. So, the unit count was kind of soft, but that kind of makes sense, right? I mean, that's kind of how the market was. The inventory, the volume, though, our volume was up by a little over 5%, and our average sales price was up by 5%, and our gross commission income was up by 7%. So, this was one of those years, and you guys probably, you've heard me say this, but I think it's really instructive to not lose sight of how this past year worked, 2018, where, we had this really strong run, some markets end of February through, early summer, June-ish, right? And that market would have continued if we'd had more inventory. And once the inventory tightened up, as it did, the market really reacted to it. The whole thing just kind of bound right up. And so it created that dynamic of, I have a house to sell, but I don't want to put on the market because I don't know if I'll find another one. I don't want to be in a multiple offer situation. All these kind of dynamics, and of course they all happen to the individuals, right? But all those dynamics really kind of serve to kind of put the air brakes on the market. So I think this year we'll see a different tempo where the market the market will probably be a little more even. And so one thing that I think as we're talking to our clients is that we really got to get across to everybody that they understand that this is the spring market, and they really shouldn't be waiting to put their properties on the market. So I'll talk a little bit more about the market, for this year a little bit later on. But that was kind of the impact that the low inventory had, this past year. Fall-through rate for 2018 was 19%. It was 21% for the year before. I think that that's just become a permanent part of the landscape. For as many years as we've tracked it and we've talked about it, and And that's one of those numbers I've tracked for years. I remember when the fall through rate was 3%, and I remember being horrified when it got to 5%. However, the environment that we find ourselves in, again, much because of listing inventory, people are paying, what they might consider to be top dollar, for a better way of saying it, for a property, and and they maybe have gone through a difficult negotiation, and they want the property to be as as in good condition as it can be. And so I think we've just got that. That's kind of the push pull that we have with this environment because of the inventory, and I just don't see that changing anytime soon. So this is something that we'll have to contend with. I think it's a little bit like living in Alaska. You have permafrost in Alaska, and I think this is what you've got here. You've got kind of a permanent fall through rate that's going to be somewhere between 15 and 20%. And you guys do a phenomenal job managing that. So much credit to you. Income from listings. So again, tight market, but our income from listings was basically the same in 2018 as it was in 2017, and with the backdrop of a tight listing environment. So I think you guys did a great job with that, and of course, that's where you want your money to come from, right? Is from your listing inventory. The other thing that was really spectacular is that our average gross commission went from 2.64% in 2017 to 2.68% in 2018. So 2017 2.64, 2018 2.68. Now that's 0.2% of an increase, but that's really significant, in a backdrop of a tight inventory market. And typically in other markets, other tight inventory environments, what we've seen is when the inventory gets tight, competition for listings increases, then listing commissions tend to be suppressed a little bit. And we didn't see that this year. So great job to you guys, but understanding your value proposition, and being able to articulate that and leveraging the tools and resources you have to do that. So great job. On the business development and relocation front, so we closed 670 transactions in 2018, which is about the same as 2017. So those numbers, kind of mirrored each other. We've got all new lines of business now that we see that number increasing quite a bit this coming year, and we're really looking forward to that. I know Jocelyn's out communicating with the offices about who wants to be on what team. And we're working on these relationships, and we're looking at signing other relationships as well. So we see that as being a place of real growth, where we can go out and actually sign accounts and garner more business, and then be able to disperse it. So that process is ongoing, and I know Jocelyn's out talking to the offices and talking to you guys about who wants to be on what team and all that. So I would say 2018 was all the way around a good year. We ended up by transactions the largest company in Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont again. So congratulations. We have I don't know if we can bring it up on the screen yet, but we've got this really cool heat map that Lorraine put together that kind of shows you our concentration of transactions, and we're going to work that in to some of the marketing that we're doing, so well, why don't we'll leave that heat map up? But that's kind of a really, I think it gives you a real sense of our concentration of market share, and what a great job you guys do covering the various markets. So we'll leave that up on screen. I'll come back to that in a minute. The thing that I'm probably the most proud of in this organization is our customer satisfaction results. So we had a 44% return rate. So of all the surveys we sent out, we had a 44% return rate. 68% of them provided a written testimonial for the work that you did. And our overall would recommend rate at the end of the year was 98%, which is what it had been, all throughout 2018 and 2017. So, a 98% would recommend rate by, any industry standards in any industry is off the charts. So, great job. Really proud of you guys. Taking care of your customers. That's what we're here for, right? And we take care of our customers, and everything else will work itself out. So, great job. So talk a little bit more about consumer marketing while we've got this image up. So one of the things that we've committed to, and I had mentioned it in my video last week, is a direct to the consumer marketing campaign, where we're through it, and then we're going to start off as a digital campaign, and that heat map that you're seeing is actually one of the digital ads we'll be using, through social media, the internet, and all that. And one of the things that I think is really critical as we're talking about how we support you in building your listing inventory is going direct to the consumer. And so really the plan is to go direct to the consumer and talk to the consumer. We'll be starting digitally, as I said. Talk to the consumer about how good you guys are and why they should choose you. And, I look at that as being really instrumental in how we help everybody, work their way through the inventory shortages that we have, and, work our way through, building our inventories on an individual level so that, we can have, healthy, sustainable, more holistic type careers. So the going to the direct to the consumer, we're well suited for that with our brand. We're well suited with our customer satisfaction results that you guys have earned. And we've got the experience and the expertise back at the home office and the other resources to make that happen. So it's one of the things that I'm really excited about. I've been kind of chomping at the bit to get to this point so that we can launch this. The first part was getting the website launched, and then giving Lorraine a little bit of breathing room. And then now we can launch into this. So you can see some of the other digital ads, right, that are on the screen, and we'll send you out a whole flight of what they look like, and you'll probably be seeing them as well as you're on the internet and on Facebook and other social media portals. So we're really excited about that. Just a couple other things, and then we can take some questions. So you're talking about the inventory, and I really I don't feel like we can talk about this enough, at least right now, in the understanding of where we are, both demographically and with the economy. So, we're in this environment now where we're producing more families and more individual buyers, whether they're, millennials or, single moms or, new family formations or whatever it is, right? However that comes about, but we're creating more buyers than we are inventory. So basically we have a static supply of inventory, very little new construction going on, right? There are pockets, but very little. And yet we're still cranking out, right, new homeowners almost every day. And so we've gone from a trend to now pretty much a fact that this is the environment we have. And, I don't know, or maybe you guys do. I don't know of any community in our footprint that has an open for subdivision business sign hung out under, their welcome to our town sign. Like no one says, come here, let's, we want you to build a lot of houses. So we've got this environment now where we're going to have to sort out how we handle housing demand with this expanding population with a static number of homes, right? So we, in essence, have the same inventory today that we had 10 years ago. And again, 3 years ago, I made a presentation to the New Hampshire Economic Council. And we talked about this as a trend. And now it's gone from a trend to just a simple demographic fact. So everything we're focusing on, whether it's on the marketing side or compensation or all that stuff, is all focused about supporting you guys building your listing inventory. So, and we'll keep talking about that as things develop. Market expectations, I think it'll be a smoother year. I don't think we'll get that big rush that real rush of concentration of business that we had in, late last spring into summer. I think the year will be more spread out. Rates are coming down. So rates are almost where they were this time last year. So that's a good thing. And I don't see a lot of pressure on interest rates. So I think we'll have a really good, market conditions. Employment's strong. I think we're going to start to see, we've got pretty much full employment now. What will follow next will be significant wage increases. So I think we'll start to see real wage growth this year. Now that the employment situation has pretty much gone to full employment. So we're excited about this year. Lots of good stuff to do, to work on. Lots of good stuff for you guys. Web activity is doubling or so every month, which is great. And I think we're going to be in for a good solid year, and we're looking forward to getting more traction on the marketing side and on new business accounts. So, are there any questions that we got so far?
Please use the chat for the questions.
Yeah. So there's a chat feature. So whoever's got control of the computer in your offices, or if you're watching this video individually, you can shoot a chat through a question through the chat feature. So while we're coming up on that, again, talking to your sellers, I know it's January 22nd, 1st, whatever today is. And I know this morning when I went to the gym, it was -4. So it doesn't feel like spring, but this is the spring market, right? And so like our real estate clocks know that, but we've got to really convey that to our sellers right now because, right, it's winter, but inventory is low. And so you want to give people the opportunity to get ahead of the marketplace, and they get their houses on the market now. They're getting basically first jump on the spring market. So I think we have a question.
Will agents have copies of the new marketing pieces to use, like the heat map and that sort of thing?
Yeah, so good question. Will you guys have copies of the new marketing pieces, the heat map and all that? Absolutely. We're just finishing up the market share and how we're going to integrate the heat map and then the digital marketing campaign. So you'll have all that within the next week or so. Yeah, good question. Any other questions?
Can the images be used for print marketing?
Absolutely. Lorraine can, so the question was, can the images be used for print marketing? And absolutely, we'll, if you need anything along those lines, just email Lorraine and Melissa, and they'll be happy to get you the artwork for it. Yeah, good question. And any other questions?
Just a comment from Mark Pilot. It will be beneficial for all agents to share and like promotional pieces on social media to help spread the word.
Yeah, so we'll, so from Mark and Auburn about, sharing, marketing pieces and marketing efforts and all that. So I don't know, maybe we can, Lorraine's sitting here with me, maybe we can come up with a way for people to share ideas. So yeah, great, excellent. Yeah, we'll do that for sure. Okay, how are we doing for time?
Looks like one last question from Heather McAfee in Tilton.
I'm sorry, we're not answering any questions.
Well, then we're finished. Any advice on talking points with sellers that are under contract with some of the government loans, VA, USDA?
Yeah, so Heather's question from Tilton is, what do we, talk to buyers and sellers about that are under agreement with, government-funded loans? We just have to kind of wait it out. I mean, really, if you can switch your loan product, I would consider switching your loan product. I know there might be some expense involved in that, but I would probably give that some thought because it's kind of funny. It seems like they've settled into this stalemate. Things are functioning, although probably not functioning well. Like I haven't flown lately, so I don't know what the airports are like, but it would seem to me that even if both parties had to make a concession to cover some of the costs to migrate to a different mortgage program, I would consider doing that. For sure. Okay, well, that's it from here. And congratulations on your 2018 and best wishes for 2019. Take care. Have a great week.